Oh my gosh, it has been just way too long since I've jumped on a live, and I was really called to jump on and do a Q&A with you guys because I had so many questions coming into my inbox that were really quite similar, and I felt like you had heaps of burning questions to ask. I also had heaps coming through my emails, and I thought this was time to chat to you guys, come on live and really talk through a few things that I'm seeing as common questions. I said I was only going to pick 5, but I ended up picking 6 or 7 because I honestly had about 40 questions come in, 20 through the Facebook group and about 20 outside of the Facebook group. So I needed to cull it down. But what I will do is I've decided I'm going to be doing a live Q&A, trying to do one every fortnight. So that way I can slowly get through those questions because there were so many amazing questions that I really want to answer. I just possibly cannot do it all in one go. So I've chosen a few that were reoccurring. So people ask the same question a lot of the time in a different way, but it was the same, would have been the same answer. So here's what we're going to be discussing as people start to join the live. And of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what the questions are. And that way I'm going to also put them in the description after I get off this live so you can see what questions were answered. So if you were one of those people who asked that type of question or wanted to know the answer, at least you know this is the live that question will be answered on, as well as posting all of that in the description so you can see what questions were answered. I'm going to do that right after this talk. And I think that's it. Hi, Erica. Hello. Okay, you got on time. Yes. So here are the 6 questions that we're going to talk about. Jenna's question, I have a mindset question. How do you stay motivated? Sometimes I just can't get up and exercise even though I feel like I want to, but I just can't. Very common. Motivation, how to get motivation, how to stay motivated. Why don't I have motivation? That is probably the number 1 question that I get answered. So that's going to be the one we kick off with first. So I'll be answering that one and giving you a couple of tips that I use. Sorry, I just have to have some water. Next, we have Lynn saying, I was doing so well in lockdown with both exercise and eating, but since I've gone back to work and I start now at 6:45, it's all got a bit pear-shaped and I feel the weight's creeping in. I don't feel great. How can I get back into it? So again, another thing, our lives have been thrown into so many tops and topsy-turvy waves of chaos in the last 2 years. So, things have changed and shifted with our schedules, all sorts of things. And this is a big one. So I'm going to talk about that one and I'm going to answer that question. Charlotte asks, something I'd like to know regarding movement and fitness. I've heard that I need to do cardio type of exercise to reduce my body fat before I do strength training. Is this a myth or is there any truth to it? I enjoy strength training, but I have quite a bit of weight to lose. What are your thoughts on this? And basically I'm going to unpack cardio, strength, but also what do you actually need for weight loss? Okay, so I'm going to get to that in a second. That will be the 3rd question. 4th question we're going to talk about is a mindset related one as well. I had a lot of mindset related ones, but this one was a really goodie because I felt this as well and I needed help with this when it came to my turn. But how long did it take you to get your mind to catch up with your body when you actually have lost weight? I personally have Kirsty lost over 40 pounds and she still can't help but dress and feel sometimes like she did before the weight loss. So I'm going to give you my perspective on this. Obviously nothing rooted in science on this one because it's a mindset related one, but we're going to chat a little bit about that. And then we have 2 more. My question is getting rid of belly fat after menopause. Had so many women contact me about, and not just for this Q&A, but always I get emails on the daily, literally, about belly fat and menopause. So I'm going to chat through, and the question was, what are the best exercises for women who want to lose that weight? So I'm going to get to the crux of that as well and explain a little bit about what's happening with our bodies during that time, without it being out of my scope medically. So my husband is a primary healthcare physician, so he's got a lot of patients who are going through menopause with him currently. He even talks about the nutrition, all sorts of things. So I'm going to talk to you about that and my take on it and what I've experienced with my clients who are who have gone through menopause and beyond. So, and what has helped them to lose weight. So we're going to talk about that. And then finally, I had an influx of people ask me about when are the challenges starting? When is my program coming back? All of that sort of thing. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Ali. Hi, Lisa. And Erica, you did make it on time. So let's get right into it, guys. I'm excited. Are you excited? How's everybody? First of all, I am thrilled to have you here. Thanks for watching. But let's kick off with Jenna's question, which was, and if I'm just looking off to my left, your right, it's because I've got a bunch of notes that I want to make sure I touch on because I don't want to miss a beat. I want to make sure you get all the info. Hi, Mickey. Okay, Jenna asks, I have a mindset question. How do you stay motivated? Sometimes I just can't get up and exercise even though I feel like I want to. I just can't. Now, here's the thing, guys, okay? Let's get some real talk happening here. Hello, Mariana. Motivation is not going to come to you, okay? You have to be the creator of your motivation. The thing is, we have got this idea that people that are fitter than us or healthier than us must have just an abundance of motivation and have motivation coming out of their ears. And they're so motivated to do all the things. But you know what they are? They're willing, determined, disciplined. It's got nothing to do with motivation. And the core of it is asking yourself, what are you willing to do in that moment? What are you willing to do? What are you determined to do? Those questions and coming at it at that angle, for me, is a much better way. Because let me tell you the feedback loop of motivation. I talk about this in my program in depth, but I'm going to give it to you just quickly here. Motivation is an end product. It's an end product, not the original starter of something. Action equals momentum equals motivation. See how motivation is the end of that? And when I say action, it's not how can I climb Mount Everest right now? It's usually what's the smallest thing I can do to get momentum, to get motivation. Motivation is the end result of your action, which built momentum, which then got you excited because you started seeing results, which then gets you motivation. So if you are sitting and waiting for something to come to you passively through this elusive idea of motivation, you're not actioning anything. So therefore, you're not going to get that momentum and you're not going to actually get that motivation that you so wish and so desire to achieve. So here's the thing. How do I start? How do I actually get myself to start? If I'm feeling low, if I'm not really into it, how do I start? You start small, okay? And one of my secret sauce, and I'm going to share this one with you, and I talk about this in the program, in my new program, is a Jedi mind trick, okay? I ask myself this question. I want you to all write this down. It's in those moments where you feel like you're lacking motivation and you're not sure how to get started, ask yourself, can I just? Can I just? And what that means and what that allows us is, can I just do X? Can I just do blah? Can I just do Y, Z, anything to get the ball rolling? Now, can I just do 5 minutes of something? Can I just stretch today? Can I just go for a walk around the block? Can I just prepare some cut up vegetables so that I have great options for snacks? Never mind dinner, lunch, breakfast, and all the things, because whenever we try to tackle all the things, what's the saying? Trying to be a master of everything is a master of none, or something like that, something along those lines. And it's true. When you try to try to climb Everest, you'll die if you try to do that straight away, right? Like in reality, you will, right? But how about you go to first base camp and then stay there for a little bit, train, and then maybe go to the next level and the next stage and the next stage. And guess what? If you keep doing it and you're training yourself, and eventually, if that's your desire, you'll get to the top. But if you try to go to the top straight away, ain't gonna happen. So motivation, stop thinking motivation is something you just don't possess and there's something wrong with you and you're broken, because I don't have motivation just as much as you don't have motivation. But what I do have is I'm willing and I'm determined to do some things, to make myself feel better, to make the process go, to get started. And on the days that I have the least amount of desire to do something, because remember, it all comes back to what am I going to do? What's the action I'm going to take? It's always going to come from small steps to big change. That is my mantra. That's how I coach my clients. That's all the kind of messages that I really bring through, and the crux of the underpinning part of my programs and everything that I teach. Small steps to big change. So that secret sauce statement, can I just do X, is one of the things that pulls me out of usually not feeling it and being able to action something small. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it gives you some real talk that motivation isn't going to come to you. You have to create it through small actions. And as you do the small actions, you accumulate small wins, which then provides you the motivation to keep wanting to do something. You don't want to do something if you're not feeling you're getting anything out of it, right? So why would you be motivated to do that? But if you accumulate small steps and get those small wins, which is why I love celebrating small wins, and not enough of you post to say what a small win is, because those small wins is what matters, because that small win is going to help get that ball rolling, get that momentum going, and actually give you that sense of momentum to acquire more motivation. Okay, so I hope that helps. Whoever needed to hear that today, I hope that answer helped, and I hope, Jenna, I answered your question. But next time, I want you to ask yourself, can I just do? And then answer that question for yourself. What is the smallest thing that you can do right now to get that motivation, momentum started, so you can in turn get more motivation? Okay. All right. I'm probably going to have to read some of the comments that you guys are posting as we're going later, because I have a lot to get through. So next question, Lynn was asking, I was doing so well in lockdown with both exercise and eating, but since I've gone back to work and started 6:45, she's finding it more difficult, obviously, and she's feeling the weight creeping back on. So basically what she's trying to say is that she's out of her routine. There was so much more flexibility perhaps when she was in lockdown and at home. Okay, from somebody who is currently in lockdown. So in Sydney, it's 16th of July, and we have been in a 2.5, actually it'll be 3 weeks of lockdown tomorrow, and it's going to be extended for another 2 weeks. And to be honest, I think it's going to be more like 4 to 6 weeks, because we're still doing the lockdown thing and I'm not having fun, let me tell you. But it means that I have to renegotiate with myself and restructure. Whenever you set yourself a routine or schedule, you have to understand that has to be flexible. Nothing has to be set in stone. Your life changes. Life is supposed to change. Life goes through ebbs and flows. That is life, okay? It's never one way every day. And so as we've gone in and out of lockdown, we've had to do the most, we've had to be the most flexible we've ever had to have been, which means we had to make changes to our schedule. So before, when we were working and we were doing all the things, we worked out or we ate a certain way and that worked well. Then we went into lockdown, we had to adjust for that. Now you have to readjust coming back out of lockdown. There's no magic formula for me to tell you what's going to make you do it, Lynn, to be able to get back into structure. But what I can say is that your schedules need to be flexible, and you have to, this is the key point, guys, so listen up. You have to focus and start focusing on what you can do versus always giving me the things you can't do. So you can't work out at 6:45, or you can't do this, and you've listed all the things that you can't do. I'm not talking about you, Lynn, in specific, but I'm just saying in general, these are the kinds of messages that came through, and they've listed all the things that they can't and aren't able to do. And so if I was coaching you one-on-one, I'd be like, first of all, what can you do? List me all the things you can do. And so could that look like instead of working out in the morning, you might need to, look, I've had to change my schedule, and I used to wake up past 6:30 to do something. Now I'm waking up at 5:50 just to make it happen. I've had to readjust myself because I need to make that thing happen. So first of all, ask yourself, how much do you desire to make these things happen in your life? Because if it's so important to you to get that workout in before, it means that you will have to wake up earlier, and that is just discipline and doing it enough times to make it habitual, okay? So that's that. But if you're somebody who is like, no, I want to work out, but it's not the be all end all for me to work out early in the morning, can you go for a walk after work? Can you park further away now that you are going to work? Are you driving there? Can you park further away and allocate a space of time for you to walk the distance so you get some extra steps? This is just related to workout stuff, for example, but I'm going to get to the nutrition part. Can you have a lunch break that is a moving lunch break? Can you actually do some movement in your lunch break? Maybe you need to shift to after work and change your workout time, even if you don't feel like doing it. If it's so important to you, what's the smallest thing you can do to get that momentum going? Because ultimately, it's just going to be practice to get the habits change, and your schedule just has to change around, okay? What can you do on weekends when you're not working? Can you get that workout in the morning so that you feel successful and accomplished, okay? But then let's get to other things, okay? So maybe your workout schedule has been stuffed up a little bit, but what are you doing with your nutrition? Because guess what? That's where 80% of it lies, and I'm going to get to that. That's on a whole other section for the next question, but what are you doing for nutrition? Are you prepping your meals? I do a whole thing in my program just on meal prep, a whole month on that, because it's so important to plan. We experience decision fatigue on the daily. We have to think about so many things. So let's take one thing less off your plate. Have you planned out your breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Or at least just your breakfast and lunch, or just your lunch at work and dinner, so that when you come home, maybe you can still manage to do your breakfast before you leave work. But when you go to work and you've got your lunch, you've got a really healthy option that fits within your calorie budget. And then when you're tired and you come from work, how great is it to feel that you have your meal prepped and ready to go? And so you have time for a workout, because guess what? You don't have to make dinner. So all those things, like what can you do to improve the situation? So I can't give you the exact thing, Lynn, and whoever else needs to hear this. It's about you assessing your own life and saying, okay, well, what can I do? What changes can I make to support myself, to support my environment, to make things happen? It looks differently. It might be in a different way, but can I still make it happen in a different way? What are you doing for your nutrition, stress, sleep? Are you making sure that you've got a good hygiene routine for your sleep, so that you're actually getting 7 to 9 hours, so that you're not waking up stressed and frazzled and tired? So then if you're more tired, guess what? You're not going to feel like doing a workout. You're not going to feel like eating healthy, because that just snowballs effect. So every time you want to look at something and you're like, okay, I just can't get my 6:45 a.m. workout in, what I want you guys to also look at the big picture. What else is happening? What other changes can you make? Sleep, stress, your pillars of health matter. And it's not just about my 6:45 a.m. workout. It could be about getting your steps. What's your nutrition? Planning, watching your portion sizes, getting the right balanced plate of food, watching your sleep amounts, and how's your stress levels. So it's like, let's stop looking at the smallest thing and start looking at the wider lens, okay? Because it's amazing what you can see when you look at your life and health in a wider lens versus such a small focus, okay? So I hope that helped. Again, I'm going to come back and see what other people have commented on, if I've missed anything specific. All right, so I hope that helps give a little bit of guidance, Lynn. I'm not sure if that has, but I hope it did. And to anyone else, I hope that also helped. Okay, and Lisa, sleep is important. And one of the biggest things, funnily enough, whenever people have done my program, is they've experienced so much better sleep. Maybe it's the increased amount of calories. Maybe it's just, I'm not sure, a lot of things, and the type of balancing their plate a little bit better. But it's really important. I've got a blog on sleep and how to improve your sleep hygiene. So you might want to check out uptothebeat.com, go to the Mind Body blog and look at how sleep can aid weight loss. I think that's what the article is called. So have a read. How many steps is recommended daily for weight loss? Well, this is kind of what we're going to feed into now. Okay, Becky. So, hi Gina and team. Something I would like to know regarding, so this is Charlotte's question. So I'm going into the next one. Question number 3. Something I'd like to know regarding movement and fitness. I've heard that I need to do a cardio type of exercise to reduce my body fat. Before I do strength training, is this a myth or is there any truth in it? I enjoy strength training, but I have quite a lot of weight to lose. So ultimately, you're really asking, which one is better? Should I do it before or after? The order of it, the type of it, which one's better for weight loss or fat loss, I should say. What are my thoughts? Okay, now I'm going to approach this in 2 ways. And first, I'm going to approach this in what's just in general, when people ask me, should I do cardio or strength or cardio first? So like the order of events, okay? I'm going to talk about this for a second because that's just something I want to address in that. When it comes to the order of workouts, if you're about to do an intense heavy lifting session, I would always recommend you do the strength training part of it first. Tell you why. Because if you've just done all of your cardio and then you come at your strength training and you're trying to lift heavy and trying to do a really great workout that's intense, guess what? You're probably not going to have a lot of energy because you've just expended it doing your cardio. So if I would say anything, I would always recommend coming at your strength training with heavier weights. That is a more intense session, doing that one first and foremost, because that way you can put the most effort and energy into that where it matters, because it's going to require a lot of energy. And if you've depleted all of that energy, you're going to have a really crappy strength training workout. So to make the quality of your strength training workout better, just do strength first. And you might not even need any cardio after that. To be honest, a great strength training session doesn't need both, a heavier one especially. If it's lighter weights, I find that actually to be more of a strength style cardio session, and you can pretty much do one or the other. But when it comes to which one is better for fat loss, here's the thing, guys. Okay, I also got a question. So this is kind of in line with what you said. How many steps should I do for fat loss? Another question I got was, what workout should I do that burns the most calories? Donna submitted that via email. And these are the kinds of questions I got a lot of. Like, which workout is best for weight loss? Is it strength or cardio? How many steps? Which workout burns the most calories for fat loss? And it was always coming back to essentially what exercise is best for me to do to lose weight. Now, listen up, guys. As much as I promote workouts and I'm a fitness trainer and I love my workouts, but you also know I'm a nutrition coach. And so here's the real tough love that you all need to hear. And I do this with kindness. 80% of your fat loss journey is going to come from nutrition, maybe more. And I want to ask you, whoever is listening, and if you're watching at a later time, because I'm going to pin this to the announcement section in my Facebook community and save it for you. Who here is so focused on their workouts and neglects their nutrition? Because guess what? It's probably harder, right? Am I right? Because I feel you. I've been there. I've lost weight. I had a 50-pound weight loss journey. And I tell you what, in that time, I did the least amount of exercise. Because guess what it came down to? I had to completely transform my nutrition to turn it into a lifestyle. And then exercise complemented it and helped me through it. And yes, it contributes to expending more calories. So obviously we want to still do that. But the importance of your nutrition trumps your movement tenfold. And the thing is that we are so focused on trying to find what the best exercise is. There is no best exercise, because here's the thing. Exercise accounts for, guess what? Okay, let me just give you a little bit of a breakdown so that you guys understand a little bit. Again, I really dive deep into this in my coaching program, but I want to make sure you hear this loud and clear. I really love educating you guys, and there is so much noise out there in the diet industry and world, and I really want to get clear on this. So your body expends calories, okay, through a few things. We have exercise. We also have non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So I don't want to give you all the scientific words, but ultimately non-exercise activity thermogenesis is your incidental movement. Me doing this, I'm burning calories. Going for a walk, doing my groceries, essentially, walking the dog, parking further away, taking the steps, me doing fidgeting, cleaning the dishes. That is your non-exercise. Okay, so we've got exercise, we've got non-exercise. We also have TEF, the thermic effect of food. So when we eat and digest food, we burn calories. Yay, amazing. Without even trying. And then last but not least, your BMR. So your basal metabolic rate. So just how your body lives, breathes, essentially just you living burns calories. So you sleep, you burn calories. Your heart beats, you burn calories, etc., etc. And all of that, okay, your BMR equates to up to 70% of your body's expending of calories that you cannot virtually do much about. Okay, just living and breathing is 70% of your calories burnt, so to speak. Okay, energy expended. Now let's take it to the next part. 15% is actually non-exercise. So the things that your NEAT, what I just explained to you before, equates roughly up to about 15%. Okay, 10% is you digesting food, thermic effect of food, which is I go into in my program the different types of foods that actually help that, boost that, etc. In my macro section, my Fantastic Four section. 5% is left over, and guess what that equates to? Your exercise. 5%, just that. So your body burns 100% of calories a day, and only 5% of that is equated to your exercise, your dedicated exercise. Because in reality, let's just say we do an hour of exercise a day, and not everybody does that even. I definitely don't. I get a chance to do that all the time. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But anyway, there's 23 other hours in the day. What are we doing? So here's the thing. If 5% only equates to your calories burnt, then why are we focusing 100% on the 5%? Why are we focusing on the 100% on the 5%? So yes, exercise matters. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because exercise matters. I want to make sure that I don't miss a beat. But exercise matters for boosting your mood. This is how I view my exercise. Exercise makes me feel good. Exercise, I want to live my healthiest, most upbeat life. Just focusing on nutrition isn't going to give me that, okay? Yeah, it may give me the fat loss, but I'm going to feel like crap if all I do is eat perfectly, so to speak. I still want to move my body because of all of these things. Increasing your bone density. As we get older, I'm 36 now. Every year that goes by, bone density after 40 something also decreases quite significantly. So strength training, even more important. So I exercise because I want to increase my bone density, and I want to stave off osteoporosis when I'm older. I want to have great heart health so that I don't have, I see my grandparents now having complications because you know what? They probably weren't that active. My grandmother wasn't. So she has heart failure very early on. Lowering cholesterol, boosting my mood. My mental health is so important, especially in lockdown. I definitely feel the lows. And I have been feeling the lows. So my daily walk, I don't do it for fat loss. I do that because I need to listen to a podcast, to feel the fresh air, to get my vitamin D, to feel good about myself. Because when you move, you release endorphins, you boost your serotonin levels. So it's a mood booster. There's no denying that. I'm sure all of you, after doing one of my workouts, you feel happier than you did before, right? So those are the things I chase. Like I said, my cardiovascular health. I want to be able to, lift my kids and do basic functional things. So by lifting weights in future, when I go grocery shopping and I have children in future, it's going to be easy breezy. I can do all of that stuff. I'm not going to be huffed and puffed as I climb the stairs. I want to live a good quality life, and nutrition plays a huge role, but so does movement. And last but not least, our brain is a massive organ, and so many studies prove that things like dance, where you have to memorize certain patterns of movement, can help stave off or may help stave off things like Alzheimer's and all that sort of stuff. I have that in my family. My late grandmother on my mum's side passed away from dementia. And so it's more important for me to remember choreography and do all the things, and movement helps that. Absolutely. You use your brain when you do a lot of the things that you do with me. That's why I love dance workouts so much, and patterns of movement. Okay. So that's why I do movement. That's why I exercise. I don't do it it will aid. Don't get me wrong. I'll still take 5%. 5% counts. It will burn calories. Okay. Absolutely. But it's not going to be the thing that gets you the results you want from fat loss. Because guess what? That's your nutrition. How many of you focus on your nutrition as the majority part? How many of you really genuinely, honestly put all of your eggs into your nutrition and then use movement as just an assistant to that? So if you're somebody who's asking, what's the and sweat, like, that's great, but sweat is just a body's mechanism to cool your body down. It's not the determining factor of you if you did a great workout or not, just so that you know that. But it's great. It feels good. I love to sweat. It makes me feel good. And that's fantastic. But guys, if you are here, anybody that's here that is trying to be on a weight loss journey or a journey to wellness, exercise is complementary, but your nutrition is where it's at, which is why I have my Zero to Thrive program. It is all about nutrition. That's where I coach that. So it is important for you guys, whatever program you're on, I don't care whether you coach with me, whether you do whatever works for you, it's not about the exercise and the type or the time that you do it or how long you do it for, that's important to help build your strength or have a strength goal or things like that and progress your fitness. But ultimately, if fat loss is a goal for you, then it is all about the nutrition. What's your caloric intake like? All of that stuff. The quality of food matters as well. And Becky, it's hard. I know that feeling. If you don't sweat, you didn't feel like you worked hard enough. But ultimately, you want to get your heart rate up a little bit. You want to feel that, but it's not about that. It's about, are you seeing progress as well? Because if you're still seeing fitness progress, I could do 5 minutes more today than I usually could, or I've done more steps today than I usually can, you're progressing. It doesn't matter if you're sweating or not. Okay. But anyway, I digress. I will be doing I will be releasing some YouTube videos on things like, how many calories do your workouts burn and stuff like that. Because again, there's such a big myth around that. And the inaccuracy of calorie trackers can be up to 50%, which is why I never ask any of my clients to track their calories burned. That's another thing, but we'll get into that another time because I still have to answer 2 more questions, actually 3. Okay, next question. My question is mindset related. How long did it take you to get your mindset to catch up when you did lose the weight? And this is a really tough one because I also still felt that I was the same body even though I was 50 pounds lighter. I totally relate to you, Kirsty. You're not alone. So many of my clients don't have that mind-body connection and it's hard. It actually takes time. One thing that I have to say is that a lot of it, I know you're not going to probably like this answer, but a lot of it is to do with time. And I needed to maintain my weight for an X amount of time, probably about a year to a year and a half before I made the realization that I've really changed. One of the things that really helped me was actually putting on some of my clothes that didn't fit me anymore. Not like to actually reiterate the fact that that's not me anymore. So I actually kept some of my clothes that I used to fit in that were like 2 or 3 sizes bigger than I was at the time, and put it on just to remind me that I've come so far. It's really important that also, here's the thing where I want you to have a look at this perspective. And I want you to see that weight loss is it's only a part of the entire package. It's not the complete focus. So I want you to also think about like focusing on the bigger picture of health. Okay, so weight loss might be something that you have achieved in this time, but I want you to say that that's only a part of you that's changed, because guess what? There's been so many other things that have changed in your journey. That's for anyone who's lost weight. It's not just about the weight loss and what you look like. It's actually, the markers of your health have probably improved as you've gone as well, your mood, all the things. So I want you to see the bigger picture of health rather than just the weight loss. And maybe even having that transformation of perspective might help you as well. But I still had problems with it. It took time, basically, is the answer. One thing I did do was I made a list of all the things, and I do this now for my clients that I coach with. I ask them to make a list of all the things that have changed that's not weight loss related. So what are the improvements in your life that has come out of your weight loss that is not weight loss related? So is it that you can play with your kids more? All those things, because then it helps appreciate and you to reflect on all the actual changes you've made, because you've actually made change. That's the difficult part. Like, we forget that we've had a transformational journey and experience. And even though we might not feel in our body, we need to tell our mind and remind our mind all the amazing things that we've done. So that's how I would approach this. Try making that list as a small start, and also reminding you to see the bigger picture of the weight loss is just one part of you. There's so much more to you that has changed and transformed. And using maybe the trick of putting on some of your old clothes, but also I had to get creative and start trying on things that I wasn't used to. I did go and buy myself new things that I never would have worn when I was at my heaviest, and started experimenting. And like, I had to start to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. So I hope that answer helped you a little bit, but it is time. It is time. And I can't tell you how long that is. For me, it was probably about a good year to a year and a half of maintenance. For you, that might be 6 months, it might be 2 years, it might be 10. I cannot tell you. But if you start to see the perspective of the bigger picture and focus of health and weight loss as being one part of it, that might help the ball start rolling. Okay. Question number 5. How's everyone doing, by the way? I need to have a sip of water. Are we loving these answers? Are you getting some clarity on these answers? Are these answers helping you if you're experiencing the same issues? I hope so. I've got 2 more questions to answer. One is about menopause and the other one is about my program challenges, when they're starting, all the things. So I'm going to give you an update on that. Now, everyone's answer that I didn't answer, everyone's question, that I didn't answer, what I'm actually going to do is next Q&A, I'm going to come back and answer more of those ones. There's enough there because I have about 20 or 30 emails. I have all the comments that were posted on that post from yesterday. So I will come back to those that weren't answered today in this live talk. I'll come back to those. So I won't have to ask you until I've run out of all of those. So that way we still get things answered, because a lot of the things that were asked in those might help you and that sort of thing. So in terms of the workout requests, Linda, I'm going to get to that at the end. Okay. So my question is getting rid of belly fat after menopause. Best exercise for women over 55. Okay, so here's the thing with menopause. Now, I spoke to my husband prior to getting onto this live call because I wanted to chat to him what he does with his clients and understand menopause, the situation and the scenario that's going on. So I can't remember also who asked this question, but I'm sure this might appeal to quite a few of you in here listening. The fact is that as we come into menopause, there's no denying, this is what I know, obviously, from my education and my learning of menopause, is that estrogen drops and your estrogen levels drop. And at the end of the day, you get more of a male distribution. Because your estrogen levels have dropped, you get a more male distribution of fat, which tends to be, unfortunately, around our bellies. That's just how it happens because of those hormonal changes, okay? But also, guys, what happens is that our activities level drop. And ultimately, the way you are at 55 isn't going to be the same as amount of activity that you did at 35 or 45 or 40 or 50 even, or even a couple of years ago. You're probably a little bit more tired, and so your energy expenditure is less as well. So you might be eating the same, but you're probably expending less, or in fact, your sleep might be worse, which tends to happen. Your stress a little bit, you probably are stressing a little bit more. Lots of things in life change around those years as well, which probably makes you up your calorie intake as well, because guess what? We tend to make different kinds of choices when we're experiencing poor sleep and we're stressed. We don't make the best choices. So it's really a combination. And this is the thing. I want you to go, instead of looking at best exercises, as I said to you before, nutrition is key. I cannot emphasize that enough. However, I will talk about strength training for you in a second. But ultimately, you need to look at the big picture. There are so many things happening that is contributing to that increase in weight gain. And it's not just menopause related. It's that you are most likely from every single, I haven't experienced one, to be honest, from every experience that I've had with any client that's going through menopause or perimenopause, etc., their exercise or movement has decreased. Their calorie intake usually goes up slightly than what they were doing maybe 5, 10, whatever years ago when they try to reminisce. This didn't happen to me before, but guess what? You were different before, okay? Their sleep has gone down, so you make poorer choices. Your stress levels usually tend to go up because life is, it gets to you. It gets to you. I know this not from personal experience, but from personally dealing with clients. So therefore, you really need to look at things to manage those symptoms. So how do you improve your sleep? You look at your sleep hygiene. You stop drinking caffeine so late in the day. You do things that might help you to get better sleep, which then in turn help you feel more energized, which then in turn helps you make better choices in your nutrition. You look at what's stressing you out in your life. Is it work? Is it this? And instead of dealing with it with food, you look at, can I increase my movement? Can I, instead of putting a Band-Aid over the stress, what can I do what mechanisms? Now I can't be specific because this is not a one-to-one coaching call here, but what are you doing to manage all those sorts of things, okay? Now, there is no denying, and this is one thing that my husband did inform me of, that there is no denying that ultimately there is going to be a potential insulin insensitivity situation happening as well as we go into menopause. So a reduction in carbohydrates can help as well. So looking at your plate and understanding that maybe you need to up your protein and reduce your carbohydrates slightly. So the balance of your plate, like what's on your plate, is it mainly vegetables and protein and then maybe reduction of carbohydrates? And in no way did I say zero carbohydrates or very low carbohydrates. I just said reduction, because carbohydrates are actually essential and a very important part of the journey. And especially for sleep, they're fantastic as a sleep precursor. I have them particularly at night. And I speak about this in my program when we get to carbohydrates section. But that's all those things. So yes, looking at your carbohydrate intake can help. But if you're going to talk about workouts, you need to be upping your strength workouts and the intensity level of your workouts. So that's the thing, like we tend to do less as we get older, but in fact, as you're going through menopause, because of all these changes, we want to artificially pump up our testosterone levels almost and artificially stimulate our bodies. So our intensity levels and the types of exercises we do need to increase, not decrease. So if you only do 1 or 2 strength training sessions a week, you probably want to move that to 2 to 3 to 4 strength training sessions a week. If you're only doing 8 to 10,000 steps a day or 8,000 steps, you might want to try for 9 or 10 a day to get that ball rolling, to try to get your body's metabolic rate. So remember I told you about the metabolic rate being 70% of your body and you can't really do much about that. We need to artificially make that higher, because when you're aging, your basal metabolic rate can decrease. So we want to artificially pump that up with doing more movement. So being more active. And it's not just the activity for your exercise time, remember? So for example, it's not just for, the 1 hour a day that you might do or 30 minutes a day that you might do. It's actually how are you being active throughout your entire day? Or are you doing your exercise and sitting down for the rest of the day? So you really have to look at the big picture here when it comes to menopause. There is no best exercise for women over 50. It's about increasing intensity. So even the quality of exercise, are you lifting heavier? Are you progressing your weight? So if you started at 2 kilos, are you still doing 2 kilos 6 weeks later or, 6 months later? Or are you actually progressing your levels of intensity and now lifting 4 or 5, etc.? So looking at that, increasing your strength training, looking at your balance plate, could you adjust your carbohydrate intake slightly? And ultimately, everybody, at the end of the day, being in a calorie deficit, so your calories in, calories out, that's rooted in science. It's the basis of everything. Fat loss comes from being in a calorie deficit. And if you're in menopause, if you have PCOS, if you have any of those things, that rule does not apply to you. That rule applies to you just the same as it applies to everyone else. But you need to make sure that you are in a calorie deficit and genuinely, honestly tracking, being more accurate with your portions and all the things there. So it's not giving you the exact method here because I want you to see the big picture, and I hope that you understand that. Does that make sense, everybody? 67, when I changed my diet related to a health issue, I quickly lost 20 more pounds and I'm thinner than I ever been since 1981. Mickey, that's the thing. It's not, when we look at our nutrition, ultimately, guys, I'm going to come back to this always, 80% of your nutrition is where it's at for fat loss and weight loss, and you need to be in a calorie deficit. How you get that calorie deficit, my preference personally, and what I teach is initially, the biggest word there is to track, because that is the most accurate. Eyeballing things and all that sort of stuff, that's great. But if you really want to get serious about it, tracking is really important, and it's not forever. Absolutely not. I teach how to move away from tracking and how to move on from that. But you will know when you've done it enough. I don't need to track now because I've done that in my life enough that I know now what my portions should be like for my maintenance, for weight loss, or for weight gain. Like I know the stages, I know my body now. But ultimately, tracking is really helpful. Yes, there are ways to be in a calorie deficit without having to do that, but that's my preferred tool. It's just a tool, okay? Because just like I need to track my finances, I don't just leave it to a whim. I need to track my intake. I see that as the same, okay? Now, whether you go with a program like counting points, it's all the same. It all comes back to tracking your intake. Whatever works for you is ultimately what I want you to do. It doesn't matter where you get this deficit from. What I don't like is low calorie deficits. I work very differently in calculating my calorie deficits. And for those of you who are watching now and have worked with me in my challenges, in my Zero to Thrive program, you'll know that you are all shocked with the amount of calories I give you because I'm different. That's where my system is a little unique, okay? So, amazing, Lisa, and I'm so glad that you got the results from that. And ultimately, that's what worked for you. I don't ever, like if keto works, if this works, whatever I say, I don't care how you get there with your nutrition. The only question I ask you is it lifelong sustainable? Because if you can't last more than 6 or 8 weeks of some program or whatever it is, then it's not a successful method. And unsustainable methods create unsustainable results, ultimately. Unsustainable methods create unsustainable results. Okay, so guys, leads me into the last question, because I had an abundance of emails asking me about my program and my challenges. Now, here's the thing. When are they returning? Okay, they are not returning. Bum, bum. Big news, big exciting stuff. I haven't actually given you much information yet because there's lots of things that are changing with my program, and it is becoming my signature coaching program, group coaching program. The challenges, as you know, are not going to be returning the way they were. They are being redesigned into my signature 16-week 4-step program. So they are coming all together because a couple of things. The biggest and greatest results I saw from my clients were the ones that did all 4 programs and challenges. And also the biggest issue was that they were not running concurrently, and people who finished one really wanted to jump into another, and that was one of the biggest feedback things that I also got. Another thing, they felt it was 30 days was too soon. Another issue I got, because I put feedback forms every round. Another thing I experienced when people would say, you know, what the issue was they wanted to coach with me a lot longer. They felt 30 days was too soon, and they wanted more time to be more accountable and wanted to work with me for a longer time frame. A lot of people loved the group that they were in and were just starting to make friends, and then 30 days was up and the group was shut down. So all of these things I heard loud and clear, and I'm doing a website redevelopment. And as we embarked on our website redevelopment, I made the decision and made the call to transform these challenges into my signature 16-week program. So 4 steps. Step 1 is tracking and understanding how much to eat. Step 2 is what to eat and focusing on the quality of your foods and improving your plate and balancing your plate. Step 3 is all about mindfulness and how to actually become more mindful with your meals. And step 4 is all about planning and meal prep. And they are not to be done exclusively, separately. There is no chance to do them separately anymore. This is how it's going to be run. It's going to be run as my 16-week program with a lot of different changes as well. I'm actually rewriting all the ebooks that were provided. I have different methods now. I have a new aspect to creating a 24-hour plan in week 1, for example, which wasn't there before. All of the masterclasses are now going to be, one of the other biggest gripes was the masterclasses were, when they were live, they were not able to be seen by anyone in the UK because I always did it in the morning. Now they will, I'll get to you, Diane, in a second. Now the masterclasses are going to be professionally pre-recorded, and you will now be able to download them, and you will get them at the beginning of the week with all of your resources, and you now have lifetime access, whereas before you didn't have any of those videos. So now you will have lifetime access to the program, to all the materials, and you'll be able to watch them at any time because the masterclasses will be pre-recorded. There will be now also one of the biggest things that I felt that I was getting a lot of feedback on was that the UK ones were always missing the live. So from now on, there will be 2 weekly coaching calls with me for a Q&A and accountability, and 2 different time zones, so a morning and an evening, so nobody misses out from now on, and that will be in the new program. You will also get monthly workout calendars as supplementary, just like you used to get them, but you will get 1 each month. So over the 16-week period, you'll have 4 different calendars included, and a couple of bonus things that I'm not going to share because that's exciting stuff that I want to reveal. That's pretty much the basis of it. A few things and changes there. The live calls now will not be on Facebook, because I want to see your faces and I want you to ask me the questions. They will be moving to Zoom calls so that we create a more group coaching environment, and I'm so excited for that. And accountability is going to be taken to the next level because I know that all of you guys know what to do, but you just need help doing it, and you need that support and accountability from me. So if you didn't like interacting in the Facebook group, a weekly accountability email will also come your way, and you will be tracking your consistency. So the thing is, change takes time, and those who commit the time and commit the effort will get the most results. And I've seen that. So 16 weeks is where it's at. It is one program. It is called Zero to Thrive because ultimately it's a one-stop shop, and you will go from zero to thriving by the end of that. And I get to coach with you all the way through. So I'm so excited for this new change and shift. And it's going to be launching in September because guess what? There's 20 hours of recording of videos that I have to do, 16 ebooks that I'm rewriting, all of the things. But when it's done, it's going to be just, I don't know many programs out, and I'm probably being biased here because I get to coach that, but I'm excited to just say no to the BS out there, myth bust a lot of things. This is a zero fad approach program. This is not a diet or a meal plan. You get to eat everything. It is all about moderation, not elimination. So I'm excited. I hope I get to be your coach. That's just a little teaser on what's happening and what's coming. There will be a payment plan available because I want to make sure it's accessible to as many people as possible. So there will be a payment plan or a discount if you buy all at once, the entire program in one payment. And all of those details will be coming in August. So that's just my little teaser to you now, because I keep getting people asking me, and I want you to all be on the same page with me so you know what's going on and why I've delayed it for so long, because there's just actually an abundance of work. There will be some bonus workouts that I'm going to pre-record and film. So that is exclusive only to the program, only to those who do the program. So I'm excited for that. But lockdown for me has put a spanner in the works because I can't film a lot of things because I can't hire the studio. So hence the delays and lots of fun delays. Even the delays on getting these tanks, which guess what, guys, actually arrived in Sydney today. I cannot believe it's been 6 weeks since I have, not 6 weeks. It's been 6 weeks since I placed the order. It's been about literally 3 months since I placed the initial order for manufacturing. And due to COVID, our manufacturing has just been crazy. But the tanks are here today, and I'm probably gonna have to go to the warehouse today. So I think that's it. I really just wanted to make sure that I answered as much. When will this 16 weeks be available? Again, it's gonna be coming in September. We're looking at the first half of September. It will be running for 4 months. There will be a small Christmas break, and then we will reconvene, which I actually love that it's around the holiday season, because I find so many people need that accountability and support around the holiday time and how to stay on track and all of that. So I'll probably be doing some bonus things around that, just because of the time, especially in our live calls. So yeah, I'm excited. I hope you are too. I hope you'll join me. I'd be honored to coach you. And that's pretty much it for today's Q&A. I think there's so many other questions that need answering. I know that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do this again in a fortnight, and I'll give you again a post in this group when this will happen. I'm going to keep this in the announcement section with all the questions and answers in the section. Okay. Also, I think Diane asked a really important question. If you've done the first 3 previously, would you benefit from doing them again? That's totally up to you. I can't say that, but I'm going to offer something specific for those who were just off doing 1 or 2, like we're off doing like 1 more or 2. Like I might be offering something just as a bonus for those who needed to complete 1 more part, but it will be a bit different. So you might benefit. I've got a few different methods in calculating your deficit as well. But also we'll be recalculating your calorie deficit as we go, because I'm going to have 16 weeks with you. So there's going to be a few more abilities to do that. It's not, I'm going to be able to help you make changes along the way. That's why this program has changed and transformed in such a way. So I hope that answers your question. Do you have an estimate of the cost? Yeah, we do. So we're going to look at, it's probably going to be around $99 a month. So there will be a discount for, $99 a month, which works out to be $396 for the program. And then there is a payment plan, so you can do it in 4 payments as well. Okay. So that is that. But this is the thing, guys. It is so hard to offer all of that. I'd love to do it for free. I will be also offering people who are in financial hardship. I'm going to be offering scholarships because ultimately, yes, I want to help as many people, but it is my time and my coaching time with you every single week. And this is the reality check here that if you want to coach one-on-one with me, it's $100 USD per session for 1 hour only. So for $99 per month, you already get that in a group format. And I get to pretty much personalize all of your questions. I've never done one challenge where somebody's question or issue was not solved. So that's a start with that. So for that, there's so much value in that. You get exclusive program workouts, you get coaching with me every single week, you get accountability every single week, you get the group format, and you get an incredible amount of information that you get to keep for lifetime access, all for that, for $99 a week. $99 a month, $99 a month. And so that is that. I was offering my challenges at a ridiculously cheap price, nothing comparable out there, but it came time to elevate this program. I bulked it up with so much more. And so that is why there is a definite change in cost. So $99 per month. I think it's $114 per month if you do it in 4 payments. So you're able to do it as a monthly debit as well to make things happen. But that is $3.30 per day to change your life. Ultimately, less than a cup of coffee. I know that I buy a coffee every single day. If somebody told me back then, could I change my life in 4 months' time and see a totally different way with a relationship with food? Could I find food freedom? Could I lose weight? Could I get healthier in 4 months' time for just, confiscating my coffee per day? I'd say, heck yes, I'm taking that. So for me, the investment in your health and yourself is the ultimate investment that you can make. So that's about the amount of information that I can, but it's all going to be coming to you shortly. Will you continue to do YouTube videos? Absolutely. So guys, if you don't know me already, if you're new here, that is my paid program, but I will always give free resources because I'm all about helping. I believe in my soul, this is my mission in my lifetime, is to help people free themselves of what I experienced in my life myself. So that is my goal, okay? YouTube workouts will continue. I'm going to be also adding free mini challenges that will be held every month on YouTube. So that's starting very soon. That'll be small steps. It's not going to be anything that's in the program and extensive like in the program because that's exclusive to the program, but I will still give you tips, hints, and tricks on how to improve your nutrition and movement regardless, okay? So that's going to be free on the YouTube channel. Workouts are still going to happen on the YouTube channel. 2 really exciting things that are also happening, which is why I'm crazy busy and I needed so much time till we launched, is that I'm going to be releasing workout calendars available separately from the program, and also a recipe book is in development as well, an ebook with really healthy recipes that are easy to make. My thing is ease, and they will be a very low cost. So if your budget isn't for the program, maybe that's not for you at the moment, but it could be something you could do later on. There is still an ample amount of wonderful things that are free and paid resources for you to take on if you need assistance in your health and weight loss journey. That's all I can do. So don't worry, there's still going to be heaps of things that are on offer for you in lots of different directions, because that's what I'm so excited about and so passionate about, is helping you find freedom in your food and joy in your movement. Two things: freedom in your food and joy in your movement. And if you are able to work with me in the program, great, but there's still going to be so many incredible products and free things for you coming at you over the next 6 to 12 months. So I'm excited to show you where that's going. So I hope you enjoyed speaking to me today. Thanks for joining me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we're done. Guys, this is an epic long Q&A, but I feel like I covered all the things that you needed to hear today. And I really hope that whatever you heard today has helped you. And if it has, put it in the comments below or send me an email at hello@uptothebeat.com or comment on Instagram at uptothebeatfit in my DMs or wherever, or mention it here. It would mean the world to me, because if I know that I've helped you, I've done my job today. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for joining me, and bye for now.